In today's video, we're delving into a fiery exchange that has the political sphere buzzing. A major showdown unfolds as Labour leader Keir Starmer is put on the spot over a staggering £22 billion shortfall in the UK government's finances, all while billions continue flowing to Ukraine. With mounting concerns over the government's financial priorities, Starmer faces relentless scrutiny. His response? The same old Labour rhetoric. We'll be watching and reacting to this heated moment, but first, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Now, let's dive in.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the Prime Minister for his comments on that. He will know that it is not just the security situation that worries people. They are also concerned about trade wars and the economic impact of tariffs, like those levelled on Canada and Mexico yesterday. The best way to avoid America putting tariffs on Britain is to reach agreement on a US trade deal. Following the Prime Minister's trip to Washington, have talks on a UK-US trade deal begun?
Prime Minister.
Well, I was pleased in the meeting I had last week that we did discuss an economic deal and agreed that our teams would indeed sit down rapidly to talk through an economic deal, and that is what they're doing, because, as she rightly says, that is far better than getting drawn into conflict in relation to tariffs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm glad the Prime Minister has confirmed that those talks have started. People across our country are worried. They're worried about national security. They're worried about whether we can equip our military fast enough. They are worried about whether we will deploy troops in Ukraine and whether we will be able to keep the peace. They are also worried about our economic security. Can we afford all this? The world is changing fast, and we need an entirely new approach to our economy and our energy security. The budget last year halted growth with higher taxes and higher borrowing. Yesterday, farmers were protesting in Whitehall again. People are hurting. Will he now change course so we can have the economic security we know we need for our national security?
Prime Minister.
We were doing so well. What we inherited was insecurity in our economy. We inherited a £22 billion black hole, and we have now turned that around. We've got the highest investment coming into our economy. We've got wages higher than prices. We've got 3 times interest rates have been cut. That's the difference between stability with Labour and instability with the party opposite.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, a critical update regarding Tommy Robinson's ongoing ordeal, one that urgently needs to be shared far and wide. The situation has reached alarming levels, and it is vital that the public is made aware of what's happening behind the walls of HMP Woodhill. Tommy Robinson has now been held in solitary confinement for over 128 days, spending 22 hours a day locked in a cell. His crime? Sharing a documentary that was banned from public view, an act that has now resulted in an 18-month sentence. What's even more shocking is that the charge he's been convicted of is a non-crime, an attack on free speech and the fundamental right to inform the public. Concerned about the severe toll this has taken on Tommy's mental health, his legal team enlisted an independent clinical psychologist with over 15 years of NHS forensic mental health experience. The findings? Damning. The psychologist has categorically stated that Tommy's treatment amounts to mental torture. Following a thorough assessment, Tommy was diagnosed with ADHD and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, CPTSD, with the report directly linking his prolonged solitary confinement to the worsening of his psychological state. The expert analysis is clear. His isolation is triggering past trauma and intensifying his mental distress. Tommy himself has spoken about the extreme toll this is taking, admitting, "I've lost my head." He suffers from terrifying nightmares, waking in cold sweats at 3 a.m. His sleep is severely disrupted, and he experiences constant paranoia and helplessness. Most heartbreaking of all, he is consumed with fear for his children. Alarmed by the rapid deterioration of Tommy's mental health, his legal team has launched an emergency court challenge, arguing that the conditions he is being subjected to are inhumane and in direct violation of international prisoner treatment standards. For context, the United Nations Mandela rules state that solitary confinement beyond 15 days becomes cruel and inhuman, Yet Tommy has endured nearly 130 days. According to the expert psychological report, his current conditions have already crossed the threshold into mental torture. The findings highlight a cluster of severe and worsening symptoms, including PTSD, ADHD, hypervigilance, paranoia, traumatic sleep disruption, guilt, social withdrawal, and a sense of mental collapse. These effects are not temporary, they are deeply damaging with long-term consequences. This is not justice. It is a calculated effort to break a man who dared to speak out. The state isn't just imprisoning Tommy Robinson for a non-crime, it is systematically breaking his spirit through psychological torment. We need to raise the alarm. Tommy's case is bigger than one man. It's about standing against a system that punishes those who challenge the narrative, silences dissent, and strips individuals of their fundamental human rights. Please share this message far and wide. Let the world know what is happening. So, what are your thoughts on today's discussion? Drop your comments below, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel for more British content.